It is just a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Bianca Kizy, the CEO of Midway Dental Supplies in Livonia, Michigan. He's a forward-thinking, warm-hearted leader with enough wherewithal and vision to drive his company Midway Dental to the national stage. At the age of 14, he started his first business in his father's convenience store in Detroit selling cell phones. What started out as a curious 14-year-old's project for side cash has become the basis for an entrepreneurial spirit that enables Midway to disrupt the market and provide exceptional support to dentists. His brother and sisters who practice dentistry have seen the worst in dental supply and encouraged him to bring that change to the industry. While attending Wayne State University, Stephen met his wife, Bianca Kizy, an ophthalmologist. This year, they welcomed the newest addition to their family, beautiful Isabelle, who is 5 months as of this month of June. They share a genuine love for family, including their 22 nephews and nieces, who all look up to them with adoration. It is Stephen's love of family that has given him the ability to craft such a tight-knit, family-like culture at his company. As such, it was natural for him to assume the CEO role at Midway in 2016. Since taking the helm, Stephen has opened 6 new markets and has built a unique culture with his team that is new to the dental environment. His horizontal management system enables key team members to affect micro to macro level agendas at Midway with an unmatched degree of adaptivity. Midway has grown north of 100% in the trailing 12 months. He has personally received awards for excellence and performance with Inc. 5000, 30 in their 30s, and NDC Member of the Year, to name a few. Midway Dental Supply is a family-owned dental supply company that services the states of Indiana, Lower Michigan, and Northeastern Illinois. The company began with the objective to provide exceptional customer service while building personal relationships with their customers. They pride themselves on being a full-service distributor, servicing the dental professional in every aspect of their business. Whether you're looking to set up a new practice, redesign an existing building, or simply looking to purchase your weekly dental supplies, Midway Dental Supply can fulfill your needs. This is not a commercial. He did not ask me to come onto the show. I was referred by another townie to get you on this show. How are you doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, but you know what? Every year in June, 6,000 young kids just graduated from dental kindergarten school, and some of them are worried. Some of them think that they went into dentistry because their mom's a dentist, and 30 years ago, it was a great idea for their mom to be a dentist, and now they're a dentist. They're seeing DSOs, they're seeing, all these things. They think the sky is falling. Do you think the sky is falling in dentistry, or because you could have picked ophthalmology? I'm sure that would have made your wife happier than your brother and sister who are dentists. What do you think of the dental outlook for the next 30 years?
I don't think it's falling at all. I actually think it's growing. I think it's going to be bigger than ever. And the dentist is now, if you think of this like an NBA team, you have a LeBron James, a Steph Curry, that's a dentist. So I highly recommend that they work their hardest to achieve those goals and become great dentists.
Yeah, work like no dentist has for a decade, and you'll reap like no dentist has forever. So basically, what trends are you seeing in dentistry? I mean, these kids coming out of school, are they all going to work for DSOs? Are they all going to become a dental associate? How long does it take them to really build their own place and become their own dentist?
I have one good case study in my brother, and it took him about 2 or 3 years to learn to go off on his own. DSOs offer a great place of employment. It's super simple. It's easy to go and work at one and learn quite a bit. But I do recommend that the dentist pays attention to what's actually going on the business side. They should always afford themselves the right to open up their own practice.
One thing I do not understand about your business is dentists are always worried about their supply costs. And I'm like, okay, dude, look, your fee for a crown is $1,000. You signed up for a PPO, doing a crown for $600. The number one cost in dentistry today is the 42% reduction in your fee by signing up for a PPO. The next largest expense is staff, which averages about 28%. And then it's your lab bill, which can be 8% on average. And then here's little old supply bill, maybe 6%. When you're worried about your supply costs, what was your next idea? To put a lockbox over the thermostat? Why are dentists on PPOs giving their staff a raise every time the earth goes around the sun once? Why are they so obsessed with their supply cost?
I don't know. I think it's part of the haggling that goes on in an office. It's kind of fun. I've even heard dentists say, I'd like to see what I can get out of my rep today. So a rep walks in and they're able to haggle and they're able to do what the doctor needs. So it's fun to negotiate. It's a game.
Well, I tell you what, you just gave away where you were born, because I find that the only dentists who like to haggle in Arizona were born south of Mexico. They love to haggle in Mexico, India, China, but Americans don't like to haggle. If you were born in America, you walk into the mall and if they say this shirt is $50, you just walk to the counter and pay $50. Man, you go to Mexico City, not one person in Mexico City would pay $50. Do you think that born in America means they don't like to haggle, and born in south of the border, they love it? Or
No, I'll tell you this. This is what I think. I think the American doctor, or any nationality, they like to feel like they're better than the person next door, right? And so by getting a better price on the new dental chair that they wanted, the new cone beam that they wanted, or the products that they're buying, makes them feel superior to the others around them. So a dental rep walking in trying to offer a better deal, hey, doc, this is a one-time thing just for you. I'm not giving this to the person down the street. It makes them feel good about themselves. So that's what I feel is happening, and it's been happening since the beginning of time. Every single dental sales rep, it was quite odd to myself, coming from retail over to dental, that the set price in the catalog is never the set price. And it's difficult for a company to maintain, but allowing a sales rep to make the best decision for their doctor is where it goes. The way I would take it, if I'm okay with paying the right price for my product, but I do expect a lot in terms of service, and I do expect to receive the best possible service, advice as humanly possible. And with the sales reps out there visiting 100 or 200 practices, they're able to see different things that work and that don't work. And I would say to every dentist, listen to your rep, because they're experienced and they see what's happening in the industry.
Well, I want to switch gears to the 400-pound gorilla in the room, Amazon. I called Amazon when I started Dental Town. When I started Dental Town, they said the internet was going to be 5 C's. It was going to be commerce, like Amazon. It was going to be content, like Dental Town magazine or blogs, whatever. It's going to be commercials, like banner ads. It's going to be connectivity, connect to your laptop, your smartphone, all that stuff like that. But the 5th one is the only one I went into, community. And everybody said, oh, well, you should be selling supplies. But I always thought of everything from my own perspective. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get rid of my supply rep, because when she comes in, she's my only connection to the outside world. I mean, sure, she's not going to know. She hasn't done a root canal. She can't tell me which endo file, but I can ask her, hey, the big hot dog endodontist is Brad Gettleman up in Glendale. What file does he use? And she'll find out, And so here it is. Amazon has been at the Greater New York meeting 3 years in a row. And I still don't know any dentists buying their supplies on Amazon. In fact, I had the head of 3M Dental, who does $1 billion a year, and I asked him, I said, when is 3M going to start selling all their supplies on Amazon? He goes, you know what's really weird, Howard? He goes, no dentist has ever asked me that. The only people that ask me that are business people. But so I believe in community. That's what Dental Town was all about. That's, community. That's why I'm podcasting all these counties that are part of the community, like yourself. So what do you think of Amazon? Does it scare you in your future? Do you think people are going to buy all their Impergum on Amazon in the near future?
It doesn't scare me at all. So Amazon is a wonderful tool. It's easy. It's very easy. But Howard, I have to ask, how easy is it to ask your sales rep what product is best and receive the product the very next day?
Yeah.
It's just as easy. So I come home every day. I'm a millennial. So is my wife. To 2 or 3 Amazon boxes a day at my house. And the reason why my wife shops on Amazon is because it's easy. She doesn't have to get in the car, go to the store, look through the aisles, find the item that she thinks she wants. She's able to go online, read the reviews, and buy the product and send it in. What's easier than any of the supply companies out there in the industry than talking to your sales rep? Your sales rep places the order for you, or you place it yourself online and receive the product the next day.
So our lunch today, are you going to have an avocado on toast? Isn't that the only thing millennials eat for lunch? I've read that in the newspaper that you only. But I want to give you another example about reps. When they came out with dental implants, everybody I know that places one implant a week or more, they buy them all through a rep. Because maybe they're in the middle of a surgery and they need some tool, or maybe something they need that human interaction. And if you're an implantologist and you're serious about it, you have a rep. Everybody I know that saves $10 and buys their implants online or from another country, they never hit critical mass. So it just seems like, even my book, People, Time, and Money, you need people. And your rep is people, your implant distributor is people. And if you don't have that human relationship, I just don't see you making money by saving a dime, buying it online from, some, I think there's 400 dental implant companies in the country of Italy alone. 2 out of every 3 dental implant companies are from Italy. And I don't see that being a major factor of your success. The major factor, like for instance, my implant rep. First time I ever asked her a question, she said, "Oh my gosh, there's 5 of us. We're all going out for drinks at the Sandbar on Ray and I-10 Thursday. Why don't you meet us there?" So it was just that connection that's where they all drink after work. And that was my whole implant, education right there. You had these buddies. So I don't see how the human element of reps is going away in a human business. I mean, the business of business is human relationships. And once you start failing your human relationships at home, with your staff, with staff turnover, with your patients. I mean, how come there's dentists that have practiced in a town of 5,000 for 20 years and they still need new patients? It's like, dude, the town's only got 5,000 people. How does everyone in town not already know about you? It's because your staff keeps turning over. You just took Mrs. Jones to small claims court and sued her. So we're all in the people business. And so how do you recommend forming a relationship with your implant rep? I mean, when she brings me donuts and tells me I look handsome, it's hard to say, well, give me a better price on Impergum.
So the best way to build a relationship with your rep is absolutely having dinner with them, but it's also picking their brain. It's finding out that doctor that's doing extremely well and asking how they're doing so well. It's okay to learn from each other. You're not in deep competition. This isn't a Walmart next to I don't even know who competes with Walmart anymore, but a small convenience store. You're servicing your patients, and you need to find out how to bring more patients in, how to treat your patients better. Is there something that you haven't seen? Because as a business owner and as an operator, you're so into the weeds that you can't see the forest. And a sales rep is definitely able to. They can see the differentiation between a super successful dentist down the street and one that isn't doing so well. And you're 100% correct. It's sometimes, you're bending over to pick up pennies, but you're walking over dollars at the same time. So you need to choose wisely, pick your sales rep wisely, and pick their brain to find out the best information possible.
You actually asked who competes with Walmart the most. The answer is actually Sam's Club, and that's why they keep closing them down because
And they own Sam's Club, don't they?
they own Sam's Club to compete against Costco, but then they found out that the person they were hurting the most was their own Walmart store. And what was crazy is a lot of Walmarts had the Sam's Club in the same damn parking lot. So now you're buying something at Walmart and you're saying, well, wait a minute, my wife's over at Sam's Club and it's $4 cheaper by the same company in the same parking lot. So that was kind of a crazy deal. Dentists go to school 4 years undergrad to master, math, physics, chemistry, biology. Then they go to dental school to learn to apply biology to dentistry. They come out, they don't know anything about business, leadership, building a team. Everything that matters, they weren't trained in, and yet they know 23 ATP come out of the Krebs cycle, and the guy who figured it out got a Nobel Prize. But you're never going to use algebra, trig, or the Krebs cycle. So how would you advise these 25-year-old kids who now they got to be a leader and lead a team and attract a team and retain them, and how do they learn those skills?
So I could tell you how I did. And the way I learned those skills is by reading a ton of books. My favorite is by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And it doesn't have to deal with money. It's not all about a large bank account. A lot of it has to do with building the drive, selling a vision, and hiring the proper staff to grow that vision with you. And it's not, money is a symptom. It's not the result. Your goal needs to be to build a great practice while taking care of your patients and doing the best possible job for your patients. The result is the money that comes out of that business and the growth. I always mention for Midway Dental is it's not just about the bottom line for Midway. It's about how many people can eat off of our organization. So the larger we get, the more people that we can employ and the more people we can bring into our family. And that's what's carried us this far. So when we do have a tough time, when it is hard out there in the street, when it's difficult, when our warehouse makes a mistake, I know our team members are there to fight with us and fight for our clients. And that's the differentiator between Midway Dental with our horizontal management structure compared to others. And that's truly why I built this organization. It's fun to lead everybody every day towards a common goal.
Okay, so these dentists are worried, and it's so emotional because I remember I was in Wichita. I was born and raised in Wichita, Kansas, and they got 400,000 people. They got hundreds of 400 or 500 dentists out there. One DSO moves in town, and they all freak out. They're like, "Oh my God, you think Godzilla had just moved in, Well, hell, look at you. You got to compete against Shine and Patterson and Benco and Burkhardt. I mean, you competing against Shine, that's like your dentist having to compete against Heartland. So how do you not wake up scared and run all the way to Lake Michigan and row your boat to Canada and stay there and fight the big fight against big old Henry Shine?
Well, Canada's not too far, but so first, all four of those companies are wonderful companies that all have their own segment that they do better than anybody else. And it's fun to watch them grow, and it's fun to see what they do best. The second part is what don't they do or what can't they do? So I actually asked my sales reps and all of our employees here at Midway Dental to think, to innovate. And what other supply company has a lab service? We saw a need for it, and we figured, hey, let's cut out the middleman and let's bring lab to Midway Dental and allow our reps to help with lab work. Or seeing the GPO trend out there that's fighting the DSO trend or counteracting the DSO trend and joining the boat on that. And our biggest form, the biggest differentiator with Midway Dental, and I know that every single supplier does this, but we offer education. However, our education does not sell a thing. It is not meant for Midway Dental to sell more in supplies. It is not meant for us to sell a machine. It's only what our doctors ask for. And what we've created, called the MEC, the Midway Education Center, we've been able to bring in speakers that our dentists have asked for and teach them on products that we don't even sell. Direct companies such as Strawman has came to our location to teach our dentists how to place implants. That is the community that we're trying to build and try to better our dentists to learn more and do better in their practice.
So you mentioned the lab, and like I say, this is not a commercial. I called you. You did not call me. What is your lab?
So our lab is U.S. based, and all we do is zirconia crowns. We try to focus on posterior, which is 80%. It's the easiest. So if you take a scan or you send an impression, we have our lab, mill it, stain and glaze it, and send it over. And a dental supplier, just like Shine, Patterson, or Benko would tell you, we don't need the margins that a smaller lab does. So by doing quantity, we're able to provide the difference. So we're going out and offering the most savings we possibly can to our doctors. And we did this mainly because we saw a need and just wondered why. Why hasn't Shine, Patterson, or Benko done this? So we tried to see if there was regulatory matters, and there weren't. So we just decided, hey, let's choose a small section. Let's do a little pilot program, give it a shot. It was successful, so we took it company-wide.
You know, that is so genius because think about what you did. You only do zirconia, so you don't have CapTech, they crash when gold hit $2,000 an ounce. So you're not fluctuating in gold. You're not doing interiors where they're sending it back because it doesn't look just perfect. What is that new orthodontic chain that's out? Not Invisalign stores, but Smiles Direct Club. Smiles Direct Club. Smiles Direct Club. They're genius too. They only do 20% of their cases. They only do class 1 molar, class 1 canine, 5 millimeters or less are crowding. And while all the orthodontists are scared and running to their government trying to close them down because, they want competition at Walmart and Costco, but they don't want it in orthodontics. My orthodontists that I know here, they're whining and dining the Smiles Direct Club because they know that if the case is even mildly difficult, they're going to refer it out, and they want to be that orthodontist that gets the referral case. And when I go into dentistry, it's the same thing. 80% of their stuff, 20% of their procedures make 80% of their profit. It's a single crown, it's a molar root canal, it's a denture, it's a partial. But they spend all this time learning TMJ and CBCT and all these things, which are not only noise, but they're high overhead and they lower their net income. I'll give you one last example. Oral surgeons who only extract teeth have 40% overhead. Oral surgeons that do all their implants usually have 5 or 6 implant systems, and their overhead's about 60%. So I love the way you focus and say, where's the low-hanging fruit in the lab business? It's single unit molars, it's zirconia. You do one thing, you did it faster, easier, better, higher quality, cheaper than everyone else. People need to focus. And then I'll go into a dentist who's practiced for 20 years with the same hygienist. He'll walk out of the room doing a hygiene exam and say, hey, you just did a hygiene exam on your hygienist, Lori, who's been here 20 years. You just did a cleaning exam by Wings. Did you net $8.10 after taxes, or did you lose $4? He has no idea. I'm like, how do you have no idea? And then the next thing out of his mouth, he says, I'm thinking about adding another hygienist. And it's like, dude, I could do the math to show you how many hygienists you'd have to go bankrupt. Why don't you just get profitable on one thing? And there's also a time period. Like if you can't do your molar endo start to finish in an hour and a half, I guarantee you're not making money at it. Look at general dentists who do ortho. The orthodontist is flipping their chair every 15 minutes, and the general dentist is doing the ortho for $1,000 less, but every one of them appointments are an hour.
Right.
It's like, did you take trig? Geometry out, what mathematician taught you this? I'm sure it wasn't Occam's razor, but this does not make sense. So I love the way you focus. I want to also ask you, you see so many how many dental offices are you working with? would you say?
Around 4,800 offices.
Holy moly, 4,800 dental offices. Milwaukee, Grand Rapids, Fort Indiana, Detroit, Columbus, Indianapolis. You see, over 4,000 offices. What are the what are the dentists doing that are happier, more profitable, more relaxed, more happy? What are they doing more of than the stressed out, high overhead dentists that are, drinking their Listerine during the day?
You hit a nail right on the head when you spoke about the ortho patient, but you could even go a little further and say extractions. And the dentist that does it best is the one that understands that I could take an hour to do the surgical extraction, or I could refer that to an oral surgeon and I could do a crown and bridge right there, or a crown or a bridge, a root canal, core, and crown in that same hour, and achieve triple the results. It's being efficient. One of the smartest doctors I know literally figured out how much it takes to run his practice per minute. So when he would look at patient procedures, he would see what was worth it and what wasn't. And the ones that weren't worth it, he would refer out. And those are the best dentists out there. They're the ones that are focused on the bigger picture. They're not worried about just this moment, just the second. They're worried about the year, the quarter, the month, and being able to grow that. It's breaking it up into little pieces, but looking at it from a higher level and looking at it towards building a goal. Everybody has seen this saying, and I love repeating it to a lot of my staff, but if you were to take a can or a jar and you were to fill it up with rocks and then put gravel and then put sand, it all fits. But if you were to start with the sand and then put the gravel and then put the rocks, all of a sudden the rocks don't fit. So it's being able to keep focused on what's most important. So I highly recommend building 3 or 4 goals a quarter, working with your team to fulfill those goals throughout the quarter, and continuously improving and choosing more and more goals to achieve. And you may get 1 the first quarter and 2 the second quarter, but as many larger goals as you can take care of during the course of a year, that's the difference between a successful dentist and a non-successful dentist, in my opinion.
Okay, this is what's weird about dentistry, and I can call dentists on their crap because I am one of them. And whenever you meet with physicians, they never brag about their equipment. But whenever you talk to dentists, they always think a successful dentist has a CAD CAM, a CBCT, and a laser. It's like, I'm pretty sure I can name 1,000 dentists who collect $1 million a year and take home over $300,000 that don't have a CAD CAM, a CBCT, and a laser. But the marketing has been so efficient at convincing these doctors, if you don't have a CAD CAM, CBCT, and a laser, you're going to go bankrupt. So, and then when you graduate with $284,000 in student loans, which was the average this year, 2019, those 3 purchases, you just doubled your student loan in debt. It takes you another $284 to buy a CEREC machine, a CBCT, and a Fontana laser. So I want you to specifically address that because I see the data on Dental Town. Most people go to Dental Town and they read it like a newspaper. They just go to today's active topics, see what everybody's talking about. But man, when they got a decision at hand, like someone said, you should buy a laser. They'll go to the laser section and they'll spend an hour and a half just reading laser threads. So I want you to address these young kids who are scared about their student loans. The question is, do I need to buy a CEREC machine, a CBCT, and a laser to be a successful dentist today in America?
No, to all 3. And this is coming from a supplier. We're so ingrained in dentistry, we know what these products are. When you carry that super nice, expensive piece of equipment, which they're great, but you want to pay for something that lasts a long time. A patient doesn't walk in and say, ooh, that's a new CEREC. You know what? I'm going to spend another $10,000 on my treatment plan today. It's not how it works. When a patient walks in, they have no idea any of the brands that we're talking about. As a matter of fact, the only one I think they do know is 3M, and it's a whole other division. So keep that in mind when you're building your new practice if you're a new dentist. Now, I can understand needing a CBCT if you're able to do more dentistry or able to confirm diagnosis. But other than that, I would highly recommend you do it with whatever piece of equipment creates the most ROI.
You have this macroeconomic view of 4,000 dental offices, and it's in the heartland. This isn't in Beverly Hills and Key Biscayne and Manhattan, where dentists are so crazily infatuated with these dentists that, you know, do movie stars on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Hell, I was born in Wichita. They don't have any movie stars there. You're born in Detroit. If they had any movie stars, they're probably not in Detroit anymore. So again, what are you seeing successful? Because there's other issues. There's different procedures. Are dentists more likely to be successful if they learn implants, or would you rather clear aligners, or sleep apnea, or 3D printing, or intraoral scanner? What do you see that the happier, wealthier dentists are doing more than the not so happy and the poor and the broke are doing?
Intraoral scanning is definitely the next thing. One, you don't have to buy impression material. Two, it's so much easier now that I know the lab side of receiving a scan versus receiving an impression. It's much more efficient and there's less errors. I could see that getting better and better as time goes on. But intraoral scanning is definitely, in my opinion, the most important portion. Now, learning other sections of the business, if you don't know how to do a root canal core crown, that's your first step, is to learn how to do a root canal and feel comfortable with endodontics.
You know, I know a DSO, I had a DSO CEO and a COO on my show, and they said when they open up a dental office, if they're not doing 7 root canals a month in that office, they already know a year from now it was a bad location, a bad idea, everything bad about it. It's bread and butter dentistry. It's an extraction, a root canal, a filling, a crown, a cleaning, and these dentists think it's everything else. But I want to go back to intraoral scanning because my homies, they want me to hold your feet to the fire. What intraoral scanner? There's a ton of them. Which one do you like better?
So let me preface this. I do not know anything about the CEREC, so I will be clear. We don't sell that product, so I haven't had a chance to truly test it. The iTero is a wonderful scanner. So is the Planmeca Emerald. Those are the two that I would say go 1 and 2. I would call the iTero similar to the iPhone. It's very easy to use. And it doesn't break. The Emerald scanner, you're able to do a lot more with.
Okay, so iTero, the one thing that's really great about that one is the fact that clear aligners are big. I think when I go around the world, that's why I love lecturing around the world, because you really get to see the how dentistry operates without all these little nuances of your country, your insurance, Delta Dental, whatever the heck. And anywhere I go around the world, they say, like they say when I was in Cambodia, Malaysia, Vietnam, they were saying, well, you know, the government dental insurance, I can't make any money on cleaning, exams, x-rays, and fillings. But I have this big base of patients that I'm not making any money on. But if I just place 1 implant a month or do 1 Invisalign case a month, my God, I'm making bank. So, and the reason Invisalign and implants are so profitable is because no matter where you go, Japan, London, Tokyo, Paris, the insurance isn't controlling the fee. Like in Japan, in Tokyo, London, and Paris, the government will only give you $100 for a molar root canal. But they don't set the fee on an implant, so they'll charge $1,500 for an implant and $5,000 for Invisalign, and they're in the profit zone. So if you're going to go into clear aligners, having the iTero scanner is a perfect fit for that. You also said the Planmeca Emerald, but you did not mention 3M's TrueDef or 3Shapes oral scanner. What were your thoughts about that?
So we don't sell either one. The 3M TrueDef, I don't know how many are out there, and from what I do know, the ones that are out there use powder.
Right.
So it's a little bit of an older technology. The 3-shape is the innovator. It's again, if you want to compare iTero and 3-shape, you're looking at, Apple versus Samsung. You're looking at Android versus iOS. That's the difference. So if you're a dentist that's good with computers and very computer literate, the 3-shape may be better for you. I've never actually used a 3-shape. I have used an iTero. I am not a trained dentist, and it was very easy to use. So that's why I gravitate towards the iTero.
So you just really like, so you think the iTero is the Apple, the iPhone of the scanning business? And
yes, you get it, you plug it in, and it works.
And the 3M, it's just the bottom line is the dentists just don't want the powder. That's all. That's all it comes down to. They don't like the powder, and 3M. I mean that's just. You think that's what's killed 3M scanner, the True Def?
Yes, I don't think they moved into further R&D on that product.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm not in their board meetings, but just the fact that it uses powder, it's a bit older.
Yeah. Then to remakes, I've had some lab owners on this show that said that when you send in your, I've used Emperor Gum since dental school, that when you send in an impression, they run about a 6% remake. When you send in an oral scan, it's a 1% remake.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're getting every crevice, and it's already going, whether you send them an impression, or I could speak for Midway Lab, whether you send an impression or you send a digital scan, it turns into an impression on the screen. So it's a digital model that the crown gets built off of and is milled. So you're just able to get a better read if it's just a computer programming sending the data versus having to create the data from an impression.
So how much are these scanners costing? So this dentist says, okay, I'm gonna do this. What is oral scanning going to cost me?
You're looking at $30,000+.
Okay.
They have gone down recently, and there's a new model that I haven't fully tested, but we have started selling called the Medit, MEDIT.
Okay.
And with that product, you're looking at about $18,500. So it's the least expensive product out there.
The least expensive is the Medit, MEDIT intraoral scanner.
Yes.
And so that's the least expensive one. And do you like that? I mean, do you think it's good enough?
I do, especially if you're just starting, or if you already have a CIRAC, or you already have a Emerald or an iTero, and you want a second one because your practice is that busy. I believe you can plug this in, and it's open source to be able to go into any software.
Wow. And that's medit.com, MEDIT.com. And
yep.
Okay, so you said intraoral scanners is the next big thing. What about CBCTs, lasers, sleep apnea, 3D printing? Any of those? Bite on any of those?
3D printing has a ways to go, I feel like, until you're able to actually either A, print the clear aligners, or B, print dentures in your office. I don't know if it's so super practical. If you're doing a lot of implants, then it may be worth it for a surgical guide. But you would need a CBCT for that, and you would need an intraoral scanner. So you would need both of those objects. The CBCT, I would think, is the most practical. Here's a simple fact. How many teeth do you mark to watch to see if they need a root canal? I'd imagine it happens quite often. For my brother, it did at least. And with his CBCT, he was able to instantly tell whether the patient needed it or did not need a root canal.
Wow.
And that's the biggest difference, is your diagnosis is 100% correct it's indisputable versus thinking, well, I might watch that. You might need one, you might not. So let me do a deep filling and come back if you still have pain in a certain time period. This is, you walk in, you don't need a root canal or you do need a root canal. So that's where I think CBCT is taking the industry.
That is very interesting. And all I want to say is that every oral surgeon in America today living that has placed more than 10 to 20,000 implants placed their first 5,000 with a pano. So CBCTs are great, but I wish I think more dentists would make a lot more money if they bought a van and put a CBCT in there and went around and took other people's CBCT. One of the biggest problems I see also with the CBCT is go back to the iPhone. I don't want a 5-year-old iPhone. So if I buy a CBCT in 5 years, I'm looking at the new iPhone X and I'm thinking, oh my God, I paid a gazillion dollars for this thing. Now I want to keep it forever. So what about when high technology purposes last longer than the technology?
So if you look at the medical industry, I don't know how much better it can possibly get. I mean, I'm not as creative as some inventors out there, but a 3D image is a 3D image. Now, I could see coming out with a 4D image, but I don't know the point of seeing movement. And there may be some point with sleep of seeing movement of TMJ, but that's neither here nor there. Whenever we sell a 3D machine, my main purpose is 3D is pretty much very similar no matter which manufacturer you go to. It just doesn't matter what. It's pay attention to the 2D portion. If you could take bite wings from your pan that actually look like bite wings and you're able to diagnose, wonderful. If you're able to take a pan that's consistently clear, wonderful. That's what you need to look for. The 3D is going to be similar no matter who you go to. Now, the new innovations that come out, I don't know. That goes beyond my pay grade.
I want to go back. You said on the intraoral scanner, you said iTero intraoral scanner and the Planmeca Emerald. Planmeca also owns the Planmeca E4D. And I think they sold like a sixth of it to Shine and a sixth of it to 3M. The last time I went to Dallas, there it was owned. But anyway, so what do you think of the Planmeca E4D? If you like the Planmeca Emerald oral scanner,
I like it. But again, I do think it's for certain dentists that will actually use those machines. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's for the dentists who like lab work.
Yes.
And yes. we agree that 3D printing is bleeding edge. It's not quite leading edge. It's coming soon to a theater near you. Not quite there. So she just got out of dental kindergarten school. She's 25. She's $285,000 in debt. You get to see 4,000 offices in real world middle America. She claims she didn't learn to place one implant in dental school. She didn't do one clear line. She basically just got her dental license. They say, now you have a license to practice in America. What CE do you think has the highest return on investment? I mean, what would you have her go out and learn? Would it be sleep apnea? Would it be intraoral scanning? What would you tell her has the highest return on investment?
So I'll start with endo. Absolutely, getting patients out of pain. Second on that list is I would go towards the clear aligners and learning how to either do Invisalign or any other company that they think is beneficial for their patients. It's easier. You don't have to take too much time with the patient, but you are correcting the patient's smile. And cosmetics is very important. So endo would be number one. Cosmetic restorations would probably be number two for me. And part of cosmetic restorations would also be the clear aligners.
I agree. It's all about bread and butter dentistry, oral surgery, endo, fillings, cleanings, exams. And then after that, you're saying cosmetic like clear liners. But you said something like Invisalign or another. Well, they want to know what you think. Should they do the Invisalign? I mean, I guess I want to ask you this. You know, when is Invisalign brand loyal? I mean, when a patient goes to my office and says, I want Invisalign, can I substitute that with the clear aligner? Or does that customer know they want the brand Invisalign? Is it brand loyal, or is it kind of like a Kleenex? Well, you hand me a Kleenex, but you hand me a tissue and it's not made by Kleenex. I tell you at work, go make me a copy. Go make me a Xerox copy of this, but you're using a Canon copier machine. So is Invisalign like Xerox and Kleenex, or is it brand specific like Hershey's and Milky Way and Kraft macaroni and cheese?
I wouldn't give a patient a clear aligner that wasn't Invisalign if they asked for Invisalign directly. I wouldn't do that personally, but I do feel like it is like a Kleenex. If a patient walks in and asks for Invisalign, because they market direct to the consumer, they just want a clear aligner and they don't know that phrase. So I feel like you could say, well, we don't offer Invisalign, we offer company X. They do the exact same thing. And I don't think a patient would object to that.
Yeah, and back to the wisdom teeth, but back to extractions and molar endo. Half the dentists in America tell me they don't like molar endo, and that's why there's 4,000 endodontists, and the average endodontist makes $307,000 a year. So the average net income for dental specialists average 320, general dentists 197. Dentists who own their own practice net 244. Dentists who were employed make 147. So you make $100,000 a year more being a specialist over a general dentist, or being an owner general dentist instead of an associate. Oral surgeons make 448 because they can do surgeries and implants. Perio are 330. That's because of implants. Endodontists 307. Pediatric dentists 304. I'd rather just give up my license and be sent to prison than be a pediatric dentist. Thank God there's someone crazy enough to do that. Orthodontists make 289. Prosthodontists make 219. So, but bottom line is, own your own practice. Don't be an associate. And if you're a senior in dental school this year and you're listening to my show, I know 25% of the people who email me, howard@dentaltown.com, or leave a comment on YouTube, 25% are still in dental school. And they always ask me, should I be a dental specialist? And I say, well, only if you want to make $320,000 a year instead of $197,000 a year. What about sleep apnea? Is that a buzz? Is that a fad? Or is that a return on investment?
So I know certain dentists that have been doing it for 20 plus years. And that's their focus. They really enjoy it, and they think that they do truly help patients. Is it a fad? I don't know if every dentist needs to offer it or provide it. But I do think it is important for a patient to be able to sleep correctly, and I do think it makes the biggest difference in the world to their lives. Most of the patients that you're attracting, if you're a dentist doing sleep apnea, is those moderate level, they're not severe sleep apnea. So you have to gauge where they're really at. Now, there's a lot of twists and turns with medical billing, so on and so forth, that if you took the time to learn, you can make some decent money doing it. But I would say it's actually been around for a long time, and I don't think it's a fad. I do think it's helpful, but you have to first be successful with your practice and then offer it as a secondary, or bring in an associate that does specifically that into your practice to help your patient base. I wouldn't recommend starting with that.
I was saying earlier that I learned a lot about dentistry by getting out of the country and meeting dentists in 50 other countries. And my 4 boys, they always tell me that probably the most information and knowledge I gave my 4 boys was dragging, every time I went to a foreign country, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, or 4 of my boys that go with me. You're right next to Canada. And by the way, shout out to Canada. It's Happy Canada Day. And and also more trivia on Canada. I can't believe this, but did you know the birth of Canada and the birth of the Ontario Dental Association were just one day apart? So it's Happy Canada today, and tomorrow is Happy Ontario Dental Association Day. But you're on the border. How is it different being a dentist in Canada than the United States? Would you rather be a dentist in Canada or Michigan? And what could we learn about the difference between being a dentist in two different countries by living on a border town?
So the dentists I know in Canada do extremely well. They're rather limited depending on what they take. So as you know, they have their normal procedures every day, but then they can go above and beyond for supplemental insurance or charging the patient cash. I would pick no other place than the USA, in my opinion. So Michigan is I would prefer to be on the Michigan side. I love our Canadian dentists, but the United States is probably the best in the world at dentistry, and I might be biased, but that's my true feelings.
Huh? You sound like someone who doesn't like maple syrup.
Only in the morning.
I've seen those maple syrup farms. I grew up in Kansas, so a couple of my friends who were born and raised on a dairy farm, they have the same equipment as dairy farmers do on those maple trees. It's the vacuum system. I mean, instead of 1,000 head of cattle out there, it's 1,000 maple trees. Unbelievable how that works.
You have that same system in your office with your suction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Back to the COO of Heartland. He said, bread and butter successful offices are getting patients out of pain. A new practice must do 7 root canals a month or it will fail. Extractions, oral surgery is a must. Basic crown and bridge, fillings, and treating kids is the secret. A lot of consultants have told me that, burnout is a huge problem in dentistry. Lots of dentists burn out. And the secret to not burning out is to add a specialty every 5 years. It's just something to mix up your game. And that could be wisdom teeth, extractions, implants, periodontal surgery, LANAP, orthodontic clear aligners, sleep medicine, bleaching, bonding, veneers, Botox, and dermal fillers. If you were a dentist and you've been practicing 10 years, you've plateaued, you're kind of bored, you're kind of burned out, same old, and you said, you're right, I'm going to add something new. What would be the first new specialty you would add every 5 years? And what would be the second or third?
So implant would be the first. People need it. It does. Every single patient benefits quite a bit from it. And every dentist has done extraction. So when you actually need to place one. The second, in my opinion, would be, I'm a huge math fan. And orthodontics has a lot to do with math. So I would personally enjoy that portion of orthodontics.
Yeah, and again, just be Smiles Direct Club. Just take the easy cases. I mean, why do you need a pano and a ceph on a non-growing adult if you're not going to extract any teeth? I mean, obviously look at a pano and ceph, but just take the easy case. It's like endo. Start off with simple endo. Start off with single-rooted teeth. And then build up to molars. If you're going to get into ortho, just do class 1 adults. If you're going to get into pediatric dentistry, find out the exact legal age when they're no longer pedo. I assume it's 17 years and 363 days. Just start out with 17-year-old kids and don't go any younger than that. Just make it easier, faster, smarter, easier. Just don't get over your head. There's a reason there's 10 specialties in the United States. And if you really think you can practice dentistry without using specialists, then when you get sick, are you just going to go to your family physician and he's going to do a bypass, treat your prostate cancer, and do your retinal attachment laser surgery? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Back to supply.
Can I add one piece there, Howard?
Yeah.
If I was a new dentist graduating, one of the first things I would want to learn is how to speak to patients and explain the treatment plan. Being able to treatment plan is probably the most important part of a dental practice. And one thing that I find with a lot of dentists is when a procedure is expensive, they're almost afraid to talk to the patient about it because it's too expensive. And they already default back to the least expensive procedure. But every dentist needs to remember that they need to provide what's best for their patients. And if that procedure is more expensive, so be it. It's what's best in your opinion. And keep that in, and learn how to communicate that to the patient correctly.
Yeah, that's one of my frustrating things, that the average, you're in Detroit City, home of Ford, Chevy, Chrysler. The average new car price in America is $33,560, according to Kelley Blue Book and USA Today. On average, an American will buy 13 new cars by age 76. And 95% of dentists will never sell one dental case for $33,560 because they don't like to sell and they don't like to have a price. Yet my 4 boys, my God, every time they get a new car or one of their friends gets a new car, they got to drive it by, show me. They're so happy and they're so excited. Well, you're missing out. I mean, I've done cosmetic cases where when the woman saw it, she cried. I mean, when you take someone who thinks they're going to be in a denture, and now several root canals and implants later, they got a full set of fixed movie star teeth. Why are you depriving that patient from the happiness of owning a new car model mouth? And you think the Americans don't have any money. I'm pretty sure this is the richest country in the world. Every chart I've checked, this is the richest country in the world. And yet you didn't sell one case for $10 or $20 or $30,000 last year, and then you tell me you don't like to sell dentistry, then go sell cars.
Right.
I mean, go get out of dentistry. Dentistry doesn't need anybody who doesn't like it. We already have a lot of patients. Like I had a lady one time ask me, she goes, is this, what's more painful, a root canal or delivering a baby? And I said, well, I have lots of patients that say they want to have another baby, but I've never met one that said they want to have another root canal, so I assume the root canal is more painful. But I can't believe we went over an hour, but I want to hold you on the phone. Let's go back to supplies. I don't like to talk about how much money supplies cost because who cares? You just signed up for a PPO, 42% less. Your staff costs 28. Your lab bills 8 to 10%. Supplies is 4 to 6. You know what my best marketing would be for you? It's just here's my marketing advice to Stephen Kizy, who never asked me for it. Like right now, you have the next presidential elections, getting closer, not further away. In my life, anybody who started out the race famous lost. Nobody knew who Jimmy Carter was, the governor of Georgia in 76. Nobody knew who Clinton was, some governor in Arkansas, Reagan in California. It's always a no name that has known it, like Obama. My God, yeah. 1 year before the election, the first guy that even mentioned his name to me was Fred Joyle, who owns 1-800-Dentist. I said, Fred, you're actually the first guy that's even mentioned his name, which makes me think the guy's got, I hope to I'm from Arizona, John McCain. Everybody knows who John McCain is. But for every person who loves him, someone didn't like him. So it killed Bob Dole from the beginning, John McCain from the beginning. So I always tell people the next president of the United States, if it's half of them will get 2 terms. So either the current president gets another term, but the next new president, I guarantee you, 90% of America hasn't even heard of the next new president. And what you got going for you is there are so high negatives against Patterson and Shine that if I was you, I would just market, hey, we're not Shine. We're not Patterson. You're Stephen Kizy. You don't have any negatives. So the whole America outside of the middle area that you're in, if they don't know you, you're the next president. Because they already know who they don't like. And you're the fresh face on the block. You got a very cute face. If I can't stand Shine or Patterson, why should I give Midway Dental Supply a chance?
There's a simple reason. With our horizontal management structure, and I know this is going into specifics, but you know what? Let me simplify that. Our sales rep is in control of your account. So the person you talk to is the person you're doing business with. They don't have a lot of rules and regulations that they need to follow at Midway Dental. So they can make a decision for you on the spot, walk away, and do what's right for you. That's why I would choose a company like Midway Dental over other companies in the market.
And you said horizontal management a couple times. What does that actually mean?
It means we don't have a group of middle managers out there controlling what our reps do. It's a direct relationship from the sales rep to upper management. There's nothing in between. And what that allows us to do is adjust, shift, change, adapt extremely quickly. So if we see a trend, we can snap our fingers and move in that direction.
And would you agree that Kim Myers in South Bend, Indiana, is the best Midway Dental supply rep in the whole world?
Oh, by far.
Oh my God! I don't know who I adore.
Comes close.
I don't know who I adore more, her or her sister. Just two amazing. And what I like the most about her sister is she was in a dental office and she was a treatment plan presenter. And these are in small, nobody, nothing towns in Indiana. And they just sell world-class dentistry all day long to middle America. The same middle America that pays $50,000 for a Ford 150 pickup truck, $60,000 for an F-250, and $100,000 for an F-350. And these women, they know you have the money. They can look at your damn truck. So when they go to your mouth, they assume you want a new Ford 50. So we're going to do a filling here, a crown here, place 2 implants here, redo this one. The whole thing is just only $20,000. And congratulations on your amazing credit, because it's only going to be $369 a month for 60 months on care credit. Do you want to start that today? And they do it all day long. Whereas the other dentist's like, oh my God, she's never going to get all of her teeth fixed. I mean, why would she want to be out of pain and look gorgeous and 10 years younger? I mean, how often does an American get a new car? As soon as their last payment is paid, and as soon as they realize, oh my God, I don't have a car payment this month, what do?
Right. I mean, look, how many dentists own a CBCT? That's a very expensive machine. Somebody had to offer it to you first, right? And had to show you why. I take some pointers, and when you talk to patients, do what's right for them, and that's what needs to stick in your mind, is you're doing the best possible thing for your patients. So if it takes $30,000 of work to fix their smile, then that's what's necessary, and you need to provide it.
What can I help you for one more overtime question?
Absolutely.
A big complaint on Dental Town is you drop your sensor. You know, your assistant takes the X-ray, she sets on the counter, then fat old bald dentist me walks in there and trips over the cord and hits the ground. X-ray sensors. What sensor do you recommend? Do you recommend a warranty? And when your assistant does drop the sensor on the floor, do you shoot her? Do you put her down? What's your policy?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't know the answer to that one, but every business has business insurance, and I would say if you're covered under that, you may not need special insurance. We have inventory at our office, and here I'll give you an example. At our warehouse, we dropped a CBCT once. It's standing up, it drops, it falls, it breaks. That's $65,000 or more. Our insurance covers stuff like that, and that's what you pay for.
So you didn't lay them right next to where they buried Jimmy Hoffa and make it a dual grave? You just had insurance. Is there any digital sensor you recommend more than others for any reason?
I mean, the Dexis, the Gendex, they're wonderful. I don't know much about the Schick because I haven't sold it. You've got to look. There's really only few manufacturers out there that make sensors. A lot of them are just rebranded white label sensors. So when you look at the Polaroid sensor, the XDR sensor, they're all great. They all do really well. Another sensor out there that I think is making waves that can actually help with that issue of dropping a sensor is Jazz Imaging.
Right.
AAZZ. And that company they were the founders of Dexis. So they actually made the Dexis sensor. They left, their non-compete ended, and they created a sensor that you pay a monthly fee for, and you can send it in and upgrade it when it's time. If you dropped it and broke it, you send it in and they'll send you a new one. It's all included. So it's that whole monthly service model for a sensor.
And how do my homies contact you if they want to see if you can save them money on their dental supplies?
Sure. Well, one, you could contact us at midwaydental.com. There's a contact us section. Also, I am more than willing to give my email address, which is skizy@midwaydental.com, and I will be more than happy to reply.
That is a cool name, Skizzy. I'm thinking
Yeah.
you should have started a punk rock band instead of Steven. What would have been Skizzy and the what?
And the Izzy. So I'll just my daughter's name is Isabelle.
So Skizzy and Izzy.
Izzy Kizy. Yep.
Izzy Kizy. I love it. Well, hey, seriously, congratulations. I'm so glad somebody like you, every time I meet someone like you that goes in dentistry, I'm so honored that you chose our profession. You know, that's what dentistry needs, more amazing players. I love how you're fearless. You're an innovator. You could care less with these big shining Pattersons out there. You don't even care. You're just happy. You're building a great team. You're serving your customers, and you grew last year 100%. So come on, Doc. Who cares that they just opened up a Heartland across the street from here and Aspen? Who cares? Who cares if you're an orthodontist? They just opened up Smiles Direct Club. Smiles Direct Club doesn't even do 80% of their cases. It's all about attitude. Life is an attitude. Love your attitude. And thank you so much for coming on to my show and talking to all my homies about Midway Dental.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And you know who told me to interview you?
I do.
Kim, so you owe her a Starbucks chocolate mocha latte.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll owe her more than that. Thank you.
All right. Have a rockin' hot day. Bye-bye.